Hello everyone. Our team will conduct a feasibility study for the proposed hotel in Austin, Texas. The group members are Jiacheng Liu, Yongwu Zhu, and Muhan Li. In the following slides, we will discuss the following sections in order to figure out whether the proposed hotel is feasible or not, both in financial aspect and operational aspect. We will illustrate firstly about the site we chose and the neighborhood so that we could research our mix of business and generate and forecast our financial result. We will talk about the facilities and the nature of the proposed hotel. We will do a market analysis, especially regarding on development trends, location, economic and demographic trend, and local demand. These factors will influence the future performance of the proposed hotel. Based on the local market information, we then will analyze the supply and demand brought by the market. Based on the result and background given above, we will give several key figures to show the feasibility conclusion of the proposed hotel. The physical address of proposed site is 2091 Tamaron Boulevard, Austin, Texas 78746. It's situated right beside the Austin's biggest mall, Barton Creek Mall. The total area for the proposed project is 62,922.75 square feet. Except for the Barton Creek Mall, the site is also primarily surrounded by residential area, and limited numbers of corporate offices are located adjacent to the site. The proposed hotel will be home to suites under Hilton brand, which targets a mid-scale limited service market and will feature 130 rooms and a conference room. The Home2 brand is a relatively new chain introduced by Hilton worldwide. It features several new elements in the industry, such as pet-friendly policy and digital key technology. This hotel also brings all-suite rooms and an open-to-public patio with a fire pit. As shown from the photos, the IKEA theme of the hotel design brings more unique and fashionable elements, attracting especially millennials, which makes it outstanding in the competitive market.
In this section, I'll present the market area analysis of Austin. Let me start with population. The annual population growth in Austin has been showing a steady growth at around 3.7% since 1980. Compared with both states of Texas and the United States, the population growth in Austin is considerably higher, which indicates that the population growth is increasing more rapidly and also indicate that the market is expanding as well. When it comes to age distribution, it can be seen clearly that Austin has a much younger population than the United States does. Over 60% of population are 44 years old, and the median age is 31 years old. The younger age distribution in Austin reflects the fact that Austin has a much more younger workforce, and the city is becoming vibrant. Retail sales have also been demonstrating a strong growth since 1990, compared with national retail sales. Based on the current trend, the retail sales is projected to offer more opportunities for both existing and new business. The characteristics of an area's workforce provide an indication of the type and amount of transient visitation likely to be generated by local business. Government departments generate the largest employment, with 79%, followed with professional business service, educational health service. It can also positively forecast that service industry and tourism industry has been bringing new trends due to the increase of leisure and hospitality workforce year by year from 2011 to 2015. Office space can be considered as one of the indicators of lodging demand because high-demand office space often involved with influx of new business, which will definitely generate more lodging demand from business travelers. On the other hand, the average direct asking rent and vacancy rate of specific area reflect economic performance. Specifically, High rent and low vacancy indicate the market conditions for business are promising, and more businesses are more likely to be attracted to invest, thereby ultimately leading to a more competitive demand for office space, which can be seen as a good sign for hotel developers to invest in those areas. With relatively higher percentage of good roads condition, as shown in the chart, compared with other major cities in Texas, Austin has its advantage on attracting both transient and business travelers based on its overall roads condition. It also showed that Austin has better traffic condition in terms of hours wasted in traffic compared to other major cities of Texas. The trend of passenger traffic of Austin is showing a strong growth in recent years, since airport passengers counts are one of the crucial factors of attracting transient and business lodging demand. The promising economy development and strong lodging demand future in Austin can be predicted. Hurt by the economic crisis between 2008 and 2009, the national occupancy rate dropped down to 54%, along with sharp decrease of average rate to $98.17. Fortunately, both national occupancy rate and average rate have been experiencing a steady upsurge since 2009. If we take a look at the occupancy and the average rate trend in Austin, we will see the occupancy of luxury and economy shows a declining trend in 2015 compared with in 2014. The occupancy of upper upscale, upper middle scale, and middle scale have been increasing steadily since 2013. It's also worthy note that the occupancy of upper upscale and upscale surpassed the luxury scale in 2015 and became leading two segments in Austin market in terms of occupancy. As for the average rate by chain scale in Austin, all segments have been increasing their average rate since 2013. When it narrowed down to sub-market and competitor set for better precise estimation of future occupancy of proposed hotel, the occupancy of sub-market Southwest San Marcos market reached to 70% in 2015, while the occupancy of competitor set exceeded 80% in 2015, almost 10% higher than the occupancy of Austin overall. The competitor set identified by proposed hotel is showing strong performance compared with both sub-markets and Austin overall, but also indicates a fierce competition for proposed hotel. The occupancy of a competitor set is higher than the occupancy of all hotels and submarkets. However, increasing from $83 in 2011 to $104.99, the ADR of competitor set is lower than the ADR of hotels and submarkets. Therefore, the high occupancy of competitor set is likely attributed by the sacrifice of lowering down the ADR. It also indicates that the pricing and the marketing strategy of competitor set hotels, which is aiming to maximum occupancy by setting a lower rate. Based on the chart, we can see that the monthly occupancy trend is showing that the peak season are likely to occur in February, March, April, May, September, and October, while January, November, and December are likely to be low season.
As discussed in the previous section, Austin hotel market is expecting supply increase. However, the steady trend of increasing occupancy and ADR makes the market attractive. As of now, no hotel is located nearby the proposed site, and we think that the Barton Creek Mall will create strong demand, and therefore, we expect strong performance from the first year. So we expect the first year's occupancy to be 70%. The occupancy rate will increase by 3% until the rate will be stabilized at 76% after the 3 years of operation. The proposed hotel will have higher occupancy during the spring and fall than the summer and winter. The average occupancy for peak season is 82.5%, while the average occupancy for slow season is 70.5%, and this makes projected yearly average occupancy at 76% for the third year. The proposed hotel heavily relies on transient travelers, and we expect that the number of group and contract travelers will be minimal. The yearly average of group, transient, and contract are 3.4%, 96.1%, and 0.5% respectively. Thus, Overall occupancy rate for the proposed hotel is significantly dependent upon appealing to transient travelers, and the demand generated by the Barton Creek Mall is likely to attract sufficient leisure travelers to the proposed hotel. These tables show the historic occupancy comparison between Austin lower-priced hotels and competitive set. The long-term average occupancy rate for Austin lower-priced hotel is 66.8%, while the average for competitive set is 76.4%. And historically, the occupancy rate of the competitive set hotels has been 9.6% higher than the Austin lower-priced hotels. According to the Hotel Horizons report, projected occupancy rate for Austin lower-priced hotels will slightly decrease, but adding 9.6% variation gives decent 78% occupancy projection for the competitive set hotels. Building an additional hotel means there will be more supply in the submarket. Thus, 2% decrease is factored in when projecting future stabilized occupancy rate at 76%. The expected ADR for the first year is calculated by considering the difference between the ADR of Austin lower-priced hotels and the ADR of competitive set, and is expected to be around $107. Austin lodging market is expecting slow growth for a while, so the average yearly increase is expected to be about 1%. RevPAR increase relatively larger, mainly due to the large occupancy increase as the hotel occupancy rate stabilizes. Projected ADR for group is $88, for transient is $111, and for contract is $70. Group travelers pay approximately 20% lower rate than transient, while contract travelers pay 37% lower rate than transient. The overall seasonal movement of the ADR is almost identical to occupancy. During the peak season, rate is raised to about $130 in order to maximize revenue, and rate is lowered to about $90 during the slow season to attract more guests to increase occupancy. These tables show the difference in historic ADR growth of Austin lower-priced hotels and competitive set. Overall ADR growth rate has decreasing trend in both, and the ADR growth for hotels in competitive set is 1.5% lower than the ADR growth of Austin lower-priced hotels. By subtracting 1.5% to the Austin lower-priced hotels, estimated ADR growth is calculated, and ADR is projected to increase about 1.2% for the proposed hotel. According to occupancy and ADR projection, the occupancy of proposed hotel will be stabilized at 76% in the third year, with $110 ADR and $83 RevPAR. The Austin market's growth rate for both occupancy and ADR has slight decreasing trend, but there still is positive growth, and significantly higher occupancy rate evidences that this project is feasible. Here are some assumptions made to project financial performance. According to the Congressional Budget Office, the inflation rate is expected to be approximately 2% for late 2010 to early 2020. 6% reduction in occupancy compared to the third year's occupancy is considered because it takes time for a new hotel to have stable occupancy. Financial projection is made by utilizing information gathered in market research as well as benchmarking per available room and per occupied room ratios from the host report for selected Austin hotels. Sales and marketing expense is higher in the first year, which is 10%, and will decrease to 6.2%. And FF&E reserve gradually increases from 1% to 3%. Here is the 5-year pro forma. The proposed hotel will generate about $3.6 million total revenue and about $2 million gross operating profit and about $1.6 million EBITDA in the first year. And as the business stabilizes, the number increases to about $4 million total revenue, about $2.4 million gross operating profit, and about $2 million EBITDA in third year. According to HVS, average development cost per room for select service hotel without F&B is about $150,000. But a report from Hilton Worldwide shows that average total development cost for Home2 brand is about $90,000. By benchmarking information from both HVS and Hilton Worldwide, total development cost per room is estimated to be $125,000. And the estimated total development cost of proposed hotel is approximately $19.6 million. HVS report says that the average land cost per room for the proposed type of hotel is $31,000. But according to Hilton, average land cost per room for Home2 brand is about $9,000. Considering the relatively higher land cost in proposed site, more weight is given to HVS data. And land cost per room is projected to be $20,000, with total land cost of about $2.6 million, which is 16% of the total development cost. The capital structure for this project is 65% debt financing and 35% equity financing, with the interest rate of 5% and 30-year repayment plan. The proposed hotel will repay about $800,000 per year. The cap rate is expected to be 9%, and with projected 11th year net operating income of $2.2 million, the proposed hotel is expected to be sold at about $24 million, including 2% selling cost. Considering aforementioned assumptions, 10-year leveraged IRR for this development project is calculated at 21.1%. Thus, our final conclusion for this project is that it is financially feasible. Thank you for listening to our presentation.